Wow, you're making me blush, Congresswoman. But good morning, everyone. Thank you, Congresswoman, for that introduction. And I'm grateful to be here this morning despite these challenges that we are enduring. Because even with these challenges, we have educators who are leaning in and using the contract as well as just the basic decency to protect our humanity as a way to provide comfort. And I'm grateful to Ms. Trevino, the principal here at Funston Elementary. Thank you to all of the educators that are here. Of course, Randy and Stacy, we have our board member, G2 Brown is with us, and to our community-based organizations. We find ourselves at a critical moment in our city, in our nation, as well as our world's history. We're at a moment in which we have a federal government that has not only trampled on our Constitution, but it has declared war on American cities, and particularly Chicago. A government that is unwilling to fund the basic human rights that we are all collectively struggling to ensure. And whether that's education or housing, transportation, good paying jobs and health care, the very desires that descendants of slaves fought for post the Civil War are all under attack. But I do again want to thank the leaders that are here who recognize that our assignment for justice for all is still ongoing. And we're gathered here today to demonstrate that Chicago's educational community and our commitment to protecting families and students, our immigrants, that this is a critical time. And as a former educator, I believe that our schools are sacred places. You could hear the joy and laughter of recess, something that the Chicago Teachers Union and families had to fight for. Isn't it nice to know that there are children who get to grow up in a free and a welcoming environment where they can learn the 5 causes of the American Revolution or a comma splice, or how about this? Learn what our collective responsibility is one to another. Sharing spaces, making friends, and building their future. These should not be places of fear or intimidation. And so when we talk about keeping Chicago's children safe, we are focusing on the safety as a whole, their physical, emotional, psychological well-being. The illegal deployment of the National Guard in our city and the escalation of ICE raids do nothing to keep our young people safe. In fact, it makes them afraid and it disrupts their learning. We saw last week when ICE indiscriminately deployed tear gas on our community. It didn't matter if you were an immigrant or if you were born here, that tear gas did not discriminate. Kids had to run inside, and teachers and staff had to stand between the children and federal agents. You know, we fought to ensure that children can peacefully walk into a school, and particularly black and brown children. And now it's teachers that are protecting the students from the federal government. I'm grateful, though, that last night we learned that the lawsuit brought by the Chicago media, which is seeking a TRO against ICE's use of tear gas and pepper balls, seems like it will be successful. But it's sad, and it's a sad state in America when reporters have to go to court to not get shot at by the federal government. That we have to go to court so that teachers can run their classrooms and that students can get inside safely and that we can protect them from chemical agents. We have to go to court to protect the people of our city from chemical agents. Chicago has been clear on this, though. We will not allow fear and hatred to tear apart our communities and families. And that's what our Protecting Chicago initiative is all about. It's about standing united and protecting all of our communities' rights. On Monday, I signed our latest executive order to establish ICE-free zones and to keep ICE agents from utilizing city property in their enforcement operations. Our teachers, school staff, and parents and communities are not asking for the military. We are asking that our schools be properly and equitably funded. We're asking for the resources, investments, and opportunities so that black and brown children can experience success, that children, the LGBTQIA plus community, do not have to be intimidated and afraid to exist. And my administration is proud to continue to work with our educational partners, our Chicago Public Schools, our Chicago Teachers Union, to invest in holistic and supportive schools where children are empowered to learn and access health and wellness resources. I stand shoulder to shoulder today with every principal, teacher, parent, student, and staff member who believes in the promise of our city's young people. It was Dr. King 60 years ago that made it very clear when he was accepting an award from an AFT chapter who told us that the field of education has become a battleground in the freedom struggle. And today we know it has become a battleground yet again. The Trump administration is currently withholding millions of dollars because we are trying to put in place our Black Student Success Plan. And we've said it before and we will say it again. There is nothing wrong with fighting to make sure that our Black students succeed. Let me be clear in my final note. We are going to fight every single day with everything that we have until every single dollar that is being illegally taken from us gets returned to the people of this fine city. And every dollar that has been stolen from the South Side as part of the Red Line extension, we will fight to ensure that every single dollar that's been cut from Medicaid and SNAP, that every dollar that has been withheld from our public schools, we will fight until every single dollar is restored.
Yes, sir.
So thank you all for your commitment and your partnerships. Thank you. And with that, I will turn it over to Aaron.
Hello, everyone. We'll have time for one question. Craig?
Mayor, we're waiting, as you are, to see what comes out of court today. Not like you have a crystal ball or anything, but, I mean, do you think that court is actually going to make a difference in what ICE actually does?
Well, we've seen so far that the courts have made a difference. Every single lawsuit that we have put forward as a city, we've won every single case. And every single case that has been brought against us, we've defeated it. Now, we know in the state of Oregon that a Trump-appointed judge understood their assignment, that this is what the president is doing is illegal, unconstitutional, and dangerous. So I certainly hope that the Biden-appointed judge understands their assignment.
In light of Trump's plans to send troops outside the Dirksen courthouse, will CPD be posted up nearby to monitor the situation, and what are your instructions for the officers?
Yeah, our instructions are still the same, that our local law enforcement is there to protect the rights of all of our residents to be able to peacefully assemble and petition this government to do right by the people of this city and this country. That's why I signed that executive order, of which I know you have reported on, that this was not mere symbolism. This was about a clear directive to ensure that the parameters in which our Constitution has laid out that allows for the peacefully and the assembling of residents to be able to protest and express their First Amendment right, that it is the local police department's responsibility to ensure that we keep the peace. And that's what they'll do, and that's what their assignment is. Is that everyone? Oh, hi.
Since Friday, we've seen volunteers outside the schools morning and afternoon. Can you kind of speak to what it means for the safe passageway of having these volunteers here?
Yeah, in fact, if you want to jump in too, by all means. Yeah, I was going to say that, look, let me just say this, and I don't want to turn the mic over. We are not in this position of strength if it were not for our rapid responders. These are volunteers who are of the community, made by this community, and working hard every day to protect the community. So as mayor of the city of Chicago, I have a great deal of gratitude for the organizing that's happening on the ground. But please.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only thing I would add to that is that despite the rhetoric of the federal government, nobody wants ICE here. Nobody, right? All just regular people, neighbors, are figuring out how to be there for one another, right? Running groceries, coming on corners, alerting, right? That's what we're seeing. There's an outpouring of people who understand the assignment, right? That if we do not stand up, this will become normal, and we cannot accept this as normal, right? So these are just regular people. No, nobody has capes on, right? Nobody, right, has some special, abilities. They're just regular people who understand that people have the right to eat, to work, to go to school, to just walk. I mean, these streets are empty, and it breaks my heart every day, right? That I see my elders having to go to work in this, and are just looking over their shoulders constantly. I don't see any Latino on their phones on the street anymore. They are up and they are alert and they're looking. And so these people that we see, the volunteers, they are hundreds this week, but I assure you, they are probably 90% of the city, of people who want to know how to protect each other. Right. And we're learning. Every day we're learning. So thank you.
Thank you. One more? Okay. This question is for Randi or Stacy or G2?
For anyone who wants to answer, but for also you. There have been parents who, in light of everything, have been asking CPS to launch a virtual learning option. I'm just wondering what you think of that, if you think that is something that the school district should
We have to
consider.
explore all of our options. Look, this is, a real heart-aching moment. The city of Chicago voted the best big city 9 years in a row. And we have incredible economic development that is occurring. I was just with IHCC, the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and these businesses have been profoundly impacted because people are being intimidated and harassed, and the federal government, the Trump administration, is terrorizing cities across America. And as we have worked to make these necessary investments to build safe and affordable communities, he is literally undermining the hard work that we've put forward. And so, as mayor of the city of Chicago, my responsibility is to do everything that I can to protect people. And as much as we know that schools, playgrounds, parks, libraries, these are public accommodations that have to remain safe spaces. But in the meantime, we may have to explore and look at other ways in which we can keep people connected until we, fully defeat the tyrant that is in the White House. All right, this is the last one. All right, Randi, you're up.
This is for you, Mayor. Sorry. Tensions are so high right now, and we saw the protesters last night, 500, National Guard here. And all of the big incidences, in South Shore and others you mentioned. Is Chicago at a combustible moment right now? And do you feel prepared as a city to handle whatever comes once the National Guard really deploys and fans out?
Yeah, three quick things. Again, the President of the United States of America has declared war on Chicago. Now, look, between Randi and Stacy and myself, we're all social studies teachers. And I remember once upon a time there was another Johnson in office who declared war on poverty. Come on. And now we have a president who's declaring war on poor people. It's unconscionable. It's absolutely reprehensible. And so this president is escalating violence. He is spreading fear. This is his motive operandi. And what we've simply said was, we have a right to resist and defend our democracy and to defend humanity. That's right. Here's the second thing. Federal troops, they're not trained to police. They have no policing authority, no arresting authority, none whatsoever. So the very thing that he is saying that he's going to send them here to do, they can't. I mean, you saw them in D.C. They were streets and sanitation workers. Here's the thing, you don't need a uniform to volunteer to pick up trash. And here's the final note. The brave women and men who sign up to serve and defend democracy, they don't sign up with the idea that they would be unleashed on their own neighbors. That's right. That's not why they sign up to protect democracy. And I know your question is about, are we prepared? It's why we have used every single tool. The community is standing strong together. This president is attacking black and brown and working and poor people across this nation. He has defunded our education system. He has defunded our transportation system. He has defunded health care. He has defunded our efforts for housing. He is defunding workforce. The greatest concentration of a subgroup that has been fired as the result of this president are black women. He is the defunder in chief. He clearly doesn't believe in not only democracy, but he doesn't believe in the sanctity of our collective humanity. And so what clearly is combusting, if you will, it's something going on in the side of that head of President Trump. And his soul is deeply lost, but the soul of America, the global capital of the world, the city of Chicago, we are absolutely clear of who we are and where we stand. And if the Congress will not check this president, this entire coalition in this beautiful city called Chicago will. Thank you all very much. Thank you all.